Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090 Jake, man. I'm rocking with y'all, and y'all rocking with me. Before I jump into this video, I just wanted to salute everybody that's been rocking with me from the beginning. Those that have just started to rock with me. We're about to hit that 100K. I'm ready. I'm ready to get that plaque, and I appreciate all y'all. But for this video, I'm going to be telling an old school story. When I say old school, I mean how I used to drop videos on this channel back in the day. I'm going to be telling a story that I haven't told because I didn't know how people would take it. And I feel like I've been on YouTube enough that y'all understand my mindset now. Y'all understand the growth and maturity that I've gone through, the progression. But y'all can also pick up on some of my flaws, my character flaws, some of the things that I fall back into. This is a situation where I met somebody inside of prison, but I didn't know that person. I knew them in prison. I knew everything about them. That's what I thought. I was in the dorm with this person for a long time, but I really didn't find out the truth until I got out. And when I found that out, being that I'm now a father, I sometimes wish I could have punished this person to the most extreme extent. Sometimes I wish that this person wasn't breathing, and I feel that this person doesn't deserve to be breathing. And a lot of people say things to me like, oh, if this happened to this person, I would do this. And I say, well, that is moving off of emotion. Versus justice is supposed to be this, that, and the third. And if a family member was a victim, of course you're going to feel like that, whatever. Well, in this case, I'm 110% moving off of fucking emotion. And that emotion is nothing but rage for this person. When I was at Appalachian Correctional Institution, my first dorm was our dorm. I walked in expecting a TOH. I had been in confinement for fucking months. My cell, I could see outside my window was the hill that goes up the compound. And I could see when the COs are running and scrambling and pulling open the gates as the ambulance is pulling up onto the compound to go pick up somebody on the rec yard that just got stabbed 20, 30 fucking times or got shit hanging out of their neck, barely clinging on to life. I remember helicopters were touching down on the compound. Them shits kick up dust. You know when they're coming, the COs would tell us. Coming from the youth offender prisons and hitting an adult, it was intimidating because these motherfuckers are on another level. They got a lot more time. They got a lot less to lose. So I understood when I hit this compound, I need to be willing to do whatever the fuck I need to do to survive and make it home. It is what it is. And even if I got to do something that keeps me from going home, I need to survive. And when I went inside of our dorm, I was approached by somebody. I didn't make my bunk. I stood outside of my cell. I expected someone to walk up like, oh, you getting a TOH? All right, fuck it, run it. None of that. He walked up, was popping. Started spitting blood shit, da-da-da. This person was Tony T. Morris from West Palm Beach. Like 6'3". I don't know. He was tall as fuck, skinny as hell. He's the one that told me who all the Bloods were inside of here. At the time, you had Teardrop. The one that I pulled a knife on, I told him to go get a knife and we're going to go one-on-one in the cell. He had a life sentence. He was 30-something years old. One Teardrop, big-ass teeth, light-skinned black dude. That was the first person I ever extorted inside of an adult prison. A fucking 30-year-old. I was 20. Talking about he was a Blood. I folded his ass up because he told me the reason he was in prison was because they did a home invasion and a woman more or less had a pistol put inside of her. I wasn't for none of that. The other person that was in the dorm was Bobby Martinez. The other sex offender that I knew from confinement. I didn't know what the fuck he was in prison for until I got out. He got X'd out, acted like he was still banging, whatever. He was there. And then as I was in this dorm, more people started coming in. Rambo came in. Bimba came in. Goo came in. Bebo came in. Savage came in. The higher level, the more elite bloods, the savages, the real steppers started to come inside of the dorm. But Tony was the first person I ever met. And I got cool with Tony. He had a different kind of vibe. He wasn't really a street dude, even though he was from West Palm. I mean, he used to read like Naruto comic books and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was almost like a white boy for real. But he had an MP4. He had the rawest music inside of the dorm. People used to actually like pay him to rent out his MP4, but I always got that shit for free. And I mean, me and Bemba used to work out with his MP4. Rambo, his MP4. Like, we all knew this person. You know what I'm saying? We all knew him. He had a life sentence, and he never told me why. And he always had like a mystery to it when he would talk about it. Like, oh, I don't talk about my case. If there's one thing I ever learned being in here, you don't ever talk about your case because people will talk about it. That could keep you in prison, whatever. When somebody got a life sentence, you assume it's going to be for a murder. If they're not willing to talk about it, you're going to assume it's a murder. But something about his vibe, I was just like, man, this man ain't a killer. Because he wasn't violent inside of prison. He didn't have the violent tendencies that I did. And when it came to Teardrop, when I told Tony what I wanted to do with Teardrop, Tony tried to handle it in a peaceful manner and told me that he made Teardrop break it off. And he had Teardrop's brand new uniform under his bunk. But when I went and checked Teardrop about that shit, and I said, so what's up? You under Tony? You a jizzle? He said, nah. Tony asked me if he can borrow it for Vizzo. So that was the first time I knew Tony had lied to me about something. He just didn't want to get violent. So at that point, I called Teardrop into Tony's room. And I put the whole situation on blast. And that's when I upped out the knife. And that's when I told Teardrop, go get whatever the fuck you need to get. Lock, knife, razor, whatever you can get your hands on. And come back into the cell. And that's when Teardrop broke it off. And that's when everybody knew that he was a fucking jizzle. Everyone knew it. And when he got moved up the hill, he went to either Emma N dorm, whatever blood homies I had in there. We went to Chow. When we were coming back from Chow, I seen Teardrop and the other homies. I yelled out to them, hey, bro, y'all make sure y'all get his money. Y'all make sure y'all get that shit. He's under me. Y'all make sure y'all get that shit. Y'all eat off of him. They knew what time it was. And Teardrop, grown-ass man, walking around with his head down. They took everything he fucking had. Everything. Now, when it came to Tony, he was a Christian. And he really was pushing that Christianity shit heavy. He was cool with another Christian that was in there, a black guy that had a lot of respect. And allegedly, this was the only person Tony ever told his charges to. And I figured it was just because they have that connect through religion. But he was very, very religious. And every decision that he made, he tried to base it off of being a Christian, being a better person, whatever it was. So it made me think there's a possibility he killed somebody, whether it was on purpose or not. And it bothers him that he feels so emotional about what he did. Being a Christian with a life sentence is the only way he's able to accept that he has a life sentence. When I fell out with the Bloods at Appalachian CI and they put a hit on my head because I'm white, no other reason but I'm white. You had two people come and they said, nah, we ain't rocking with no white boys. And they allegedly had the most fucking rank. So now there's a hit out on the white boy. Well, alright, fuck it, I'm strapped up. What's up? Never tucked my tail, I'm still throwing bees up. What's up? Goo came. When Goo came, Goo called a meeting, I went and met Goo. I walked into that cell not knowing what the fuck was gonna happen. It was Goo, Rambo, and another homie named Shine. When me and Goo spoke, everything got deaded. Because Goo been around white homies before. So what they tried to do to me, Goo did to them, and they ended up going PC. They disappeared off the compound. But Goo reinstated a new way of movement for the Bloods on the compound. You're not just gonna be saying the name. You're not gonna be screaming it. You're not gonna be rocking a jersey and you ain't with the movement. You need to be going to the meetings. You need to be doing whatever it is that we need to do to rock as a movement. Whether you gotta slide to another dorm to make it to the meeting, homie need a violation, he trying to get brought home, he needs his shit beat in, he needs to get stabbed. You need to participate. And Tony didn't want to. But Goo gave him an option. You're going to fold your flag, fold it. This is the only chance you're going to get. You're either going to rock with it and you're going to rock with it to the furthest extent, or you're not going to rock with it. Tony didn't want to rock with it. So his flag dropped. He wasn't banging anymore. He wasn't claiming blood anymore. There was none of that. And at that point, me and Rambo fell back off of him. We stopped fucking with him. And his respect inside of the whole entire dorm, it just diminished. It wasn't there anymore. Except for amongst the Christians, which the majority of them were dead fucking pussy anyway. And it's almost like he went from being somebody that everyone knew, everyone wanted to talk to, everybody said what's up to being a nobody. And Tony put his neck out there for me more than once. There was a time that I got into it with somebody named Cowboy from Miami, an older black dude that's been down mad years. There was a white boy that came from Lancaster that was known for having seizures and shit. And we're all standing in the salad port, and I tell Tony, I said, hey, bro, I was at Lancaster with him. He was like, oh, yeah? I was like, yeah, he was under us. And I hear somebody behind me go, well, he's under me. And I look back, and it's this big-ass fucking black dude named Cowboy. I didn't know who the fuck he was. I didn't even care about the white boy. I said he was under us. I already know he never got canteen a day in his life. Nothing. But now he's a boy to some 40-something-year-old dude that's been down 20-something years. So he looking crazy. And Tony like, oh, nah, bro. It ain't nothing, bro. That's you, that's you. And I'm just looking at him. I ain't really saying nothing. And he's still looking back at me. And Tony like, come on, bro, come on. We walk over to our quad. He walks over to his quad. The white boy was in his quad. They were in quad 1, full of the motherfuckers that got off of death row, had murders in prison, MIPs and shit. And then Tony told me who Cowboy was. He's like, bro, you don't want it with him. It ain't even a big situation. There's nothing between y'all. There's no pressure. He don't get no money anyway. It ain't worth doing nothing about. But you don't want to get into it with him because he's going for the kill. I was like, shit, I'm going for the kill too. But I was speaking from pride and immaturity. Not actual facts. I didn't want to kill anybody. I wanted to go home. He wasn't going home. And there was a time when me and Tony actually got into it. Before he dropped his flag, before he stopped banging blood. We got into it because I brought up to somebody else at a poker table that the shit that Tony knew was dub. He really didn't know any fucking thing. And, a third party overheard what I said, went and told Tony. So me, Tony, 2 other people in Rambo, we all got into a cell. And the situation was confronted. Tony tells me, so-and-so came and told me that you said this. Yeah, that's exactly what I said. Well, why would you say that? Well, I'm not lying, bro. But if so-and-so had a fucking problem with what I said, why he didn't tell me then and there? Why did he come back to you and tell you? And that person was in the fucking room. So Tony's like, man, and I just let it be known, like, look, I ain't got no pressure with you, but I ain't bucking a fade either. So whatever you want to do, it's on you. And he pretty much just, like, squashed it, like, alright, you know what I'm saying, whatever. And then he went and checked the dude that overheard it and went and told him. And was on some shit like, yo, why didn't you say nothing then and there? It was a whole fugazi fucking situation. Rambo was gonna go in behind me regardless. We would have broke off the fucking other jit that was in there. He was older, whatever the fuck. It wouldn't have mattered because he was unaffiliated anyways. But I was around this kid for a long ass time. By the end of the time that I knew him, he was a nobody. Nobody fucked with him. He was unaffiliated. Completely. He didn't hang around gang members either. That's, you know what I'm saying? You got motherfuckers that say they unaffiliated, but all they hung around was gang members. That's not unaffiliated. You're still fucking affiliated. You just weren't a member. He wasn't even being spoke to by any of the Bloods, by any of the Kings. Nobody. Completely unaffiliated, only hung out with the Christians. And I went home. And within the first, couple of weeks, I was looking people up. I wanted to know why he was in prison. I found him on the DOC site. Tony T. Morris, black male, everything checked out. Sentenced to life, closed custody. And then I seen his charges. 2005, 2006, 2008, 2011. Sexual battery by an adult victim, sexual battery by an adult victim, sexual battery by an adult victim, lewd and lascivious battery. Says the victim was 12, then it says the victim was 12 to 15. And you can see he's been sentenced to life. So the man was a sexual predator the whole time. He was a straight sex offender. And I don't know the details of his case. I can look up his fucking case, but honestly, I wouldn't even want to read something like that online, to be honest. There's kids involved. I just feel like he should die, to be real. And a part of me wishes I did something. You know what I mean? Even when Tony folded his flag, I wanted to hit him up. Because I just felt like, you know what I mean? I was willing to go in about you. I was willing to have your back to whatever extent. And I spoke with Rambo about cutting him. I talked to him about it because I had a piece of a clipboard. TK helped me steal the shit from fucking class. The little pot that holds down the fucking paper. He broke it in the bathroom. He gave me the metal. I took it back. I sharpened that shit up. I wanted to hit him up. I wanted to cut his fucking face just for not rocking with blood, just for dropping his flag like that. I felt like that shit was pussy. And then once I heard all of this, it's a different feeling. It's a feeling of wanting to inflict a lot of fucking pain on somebody. And it's like I said, it's a character flaw inside of me because I'm not able to move on from certain things. And feelings and emotions that I've tried to move past, it seems that I haven't matured out of those feelings or emotions. It seems that I've stored them away. And there's certain things that can pop up and make all of these things come back to me. And it's almost as if all the progression that I've made goes away. And I'm back to 2013, 2014. I'm back to I want to hurt shit. I don't feel like he should be breathing. And a part of me says, who am I to make that decision? It's difficult. But it just goes to show you don't know anybody. You don't know the truth until you've seen everything. Paperwork, it should be checked fucking mandatory. I don't even know why Florida's like that, but I do know at the end of the day. And that's why if there's one thing I do like about California, the feds, or certain places, it seems to be all the places that are fucking segregated, is they check fucking paperwork. And they make sure you're never around somebody that has a history like this. And this video isn't a fucking life lesson video. I don't have a life lesson for y'all at the end. I don't have and you don't want to be in prison with this type of guy. Nah, this video was more like a therapy session for me. Because I feel like I've come a long way. And then I also feel like I want to kill him. And I want to just go in a direction that I know I really don't. Because I want to be out here. I want to be a father. Moving off of emotions is a dangerous fucking thing. And it's a very hard thing to overcome. And it's hard to deal with on a day-by-day basis. And I'm not really sure how to separate moving past something versus just storing it inside where it can still be unleashed. But hey, it's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with Charlie. Y'all rocking with me. Till next time.